Alright, good morning off the reservation. Now today we're going to take a look at a rifle that I have called the best value in ARs today. And I stand by that judgment. That is, of course, the Springfield Armory Saint Edge. This thing, out of the box, has all the features you could possibly need. It's like a box-ready race gun. But is it the best value for everybody? Just because it's good race guns doesn't mean it's necessarily good for tactical guys. Well, let's take a look. Got good furniture? Check. Got a good trigger? Check. Got an oversized but not obnoxious charging handle? Check. Alright, we've got a light and lower receiver? Check. Got ambi safety, which normally I actually don't like ambi safeties. Normally that's one of the first things I take off a gun when it comes out of the box with one. But due to the BCM grip on this safety does not have the same problem I have with a traditional angled grip, where the ambi part hits me in the finger and I had to take it off and throw it away. Alright, moving forward, we've got a light profile barrel. Now, this may be a part where the tackle ninjas want to have an argument with me. People will say that you need a heavier barrel profile because the light ones heat up faster. Yeah, that's true to an extent, but if you've ever carried a rifle through the mountains, you're going to find yourself very quickly on the side of light barrel profile. Especially this one on this edge. This one gave me just under a minute of angle, which is fantastic for an AR-15, especially one with a light barrel. Alright, that pretty much leaves us with the muzzle device. Now, this one comes out of the box with a muzzle brake, which does its job extremely well, as you can see here. Alright, now out of the box, this factory muzzle brake is fantastic. I mean, you can see, even with the lightness of this gun, how even in one hand, this gun stays nice and flat. But that added controllability does come at a price. Muzzle brakes are both extremely loud, especially indoors. Oh, if you ever run in a shoot house with a muzzle brake on, a true muzzle brake, not a good time. Same thing with inside of cars. Also, the signature is just massive because everything about this muzzle brake was designed to keep the gun flat and nothing to do with hiding flash or hiding signature. The other thing it does, it actually makes your signature worse. Not only is it louder, but if you've ever seen one of these at night, alright, it's like shooting dragon's breath out the end of your gun. Alright, and last but certainly not least, if you're going to classes or training with a team, something like that, nobody wants to be next to the guy that has a muzzle brake on his gun. Alright, it's just going to be completely obnoxious to the guy to the left and right of you. Alright, and that holds true for actual combat if you have a team as well. So really, I feel like that's the only thing that we need to change on this. And that's not really that big of a deal. Muzzle brake on your rifle is pretty much, the personalization anyway. It's like putting grips in your 1911. So I like this one came out of the box with a muzzle brake, but if we're going to have a tactical gun, we need to swap that out. So what are you going to use in place of this muzzle brake? And I actually do recommend that you keep this. You might get into competitive stuff later and you're going to want the muzzle brake for that. Well, the marketplace is rife with options for a muzzle brake. But I did a lot of testing on these when I was still in the Army, and the one that I came to like the most is this one from White Sound Defense. Alright, White Sound Defense does only tactical, and this is what they came up with as the perfect evolution of a muzzle brake. And you might notice it's a three-pronger. It looks remarkably like the actual original M16A1 flash hider. This one has different weights in the different prongs, which actually helps to mitigate the noise signature quite a bit. This is not going to act like a suppressor by any stretch of the imagination, alright, but it will quiet the gun down some from just the obnoxious train whistle of, a muzzle brake. So this one works fantastic. I've tested it a bunch at night. By far the best one I've seen. The other thing I really like about this one is you don't have to time it. That means that I don't have to use crush washers, to get it perfectly aligned in a certain spot for it to do its job. Now the internet is rife with experts that'll actually show you how to put one of these on. Alright, I don't feel like that's the kind of party that we need to have here. So let's go slap this guy on, and then we'll get back to tacticalizing our Saint Edge. Alright, I'm going to use the Geisley reaction rod because it is super helpful for jobs like this. Yes, I know that a crescent wrench is the wrong tool for the job. Alright, there that part goes, and like I said, I'm going to save that because it is actually a very good muzzle brake and very handy to have. Now, the other nice thing about a muzzle device, typically if you buy it at a real gun shop, they'll actually put it on for you for the price of the muzzle brake, which is pretty cool. Alright, so there we go, new tactical flash hider. Now pretty much everything else about this is user preference. One thing I do really like about the Edge is how the handguard attaches though. Since it's M-LOK compatible, and we're going to want some M-LOK sections for accessories and whatnot, if you have the option it is fantastic to be able to take the handguard off to put your M-lock on. You know, it can be done otherwise, it's just a pain in the butt. Alright, there we go. Wow. Now look at the size of the barrel nut on this Saint rifle. That tells you something about how the rifle was built too. A bigger, stronger barrel nut is actually going to help the rigidity of the barrel. So fantastic job there from Springfield. Alright, and where do we need M-lock sections? Well, I already put one on the bottom. I did this when I did the accuracy test on this gun initially. Alright, that way I can put bipods on and go to true accuracy test. Other than that, typically you need them at the 3 and the 9. So, due to the style of sling attachment that I have, we're not going to have to worry about the 9 today. We're going to do the 3 though for a flashlight. So nice to be able to do the backer with your finger. Now one of the other things I think you're going to want is a sling mount. So I've got one of the older style VTACs that actually goes on the top rail, just like so. Let's put this guy back together. Easy peasy. Locking tabs. Alright, back in business. Now, as I said, you may or may not want a flashlight on your gun. Yeah, and there's tactical considerations for having one and not having one. But we're going to go ahead and put one on this gun. So, I prefer the Surefire Scout Light. It's my absolute favorite. Mounts right up to the rails right there. Alright, and where do you want your pressure switch? That's about right for me. Alright, your pressure switch for your flashlight is going to come with Velcro. Alright, but I'm going to recommend that you use a Velcro and a zip tie, just in case. As, there's nothing worse than having this come off and start flopping around when you're in the middle of doing something important. Alright, the zip tie, I'm obviously not trying to put directly over the pressure switch so that it turns on all the time, but towards the end. For a sling, there's nothing I can recommend higher than a VTAC, the old school original, and fortunately, the buttstock already has a QD attachment point. Alright, so there we are. Tackled up. Now last thing, the flip-up irons out of the box on this rifle are great, and they're more than adequate. But that's probably one of the things that you're going to want to add to as time goes by. This rifle would be appropriate with either a 1-6 or a red dot. So for today, we're going to go with the red dot. I'm going to go with the new Comp M5 aim point. And one of the things I like about the aim point mount, alright, with these sights, it's an absolute co-witness sight. Which means if my irons are already zeroed when I buy my optic, alright, all I got to do, flip the irons up, alright, drive the red dot to the top of the front sight post, and I'm in business. Okay, let's go back to the range to see how this performs now that we've changed the muzzle device and added all the cool guy stuff. Alright, let's take a look at the change in controllability now that we've swapped over to the new flash hider. So as you can see, with the new tactical style flash hider, we have given up just a little bit of controllability, but we have gained so much in signature reduction that it's unreal. All right, similar to yesterday, 3 target array and a similar distance. So there you have it. Like I said, you can feel just you know, like a minor difference between having the muzzle brake and having a true flash hider on, but I feel like it's worth it, you know, especially for the tackle ninjas. If you're doing tackle ninja stuff, as it's still a 5.56 round, it's still internally controllable. But there you have it. That's pretty much what it takes to turn an edge into a tactical weapon.